It's a pleasure to be on the show today. This is Omobola Stephen, your host on Live Well Live by Omobola Stephen. Remember, if you want to catch up with any missed episodes of Live Well Live by Omobola Stephen, you can do so on any podcast promotion platforms you bump into or cross promotion platforms you bump into online. And you have a great time listening to the show. Today, I have Charlene Norman, who is the CEO, Chief Emphathy Officer, and Truth Teller at the Preview Business Now. Welcome to Live Well Live, Charlene Norman.
Thank you very much, Omobola. I'm delighted to be with you today.
All right. Delighted to have you also on the show, Charlene Norman. Now, you developed the framework, the 6 levels of a winning mindset, to show people how you became a minor medical miracle. I'd like you to tell me more about it.
In 2015, I was struck by a virus, streptococcal meningitis. And what it does is it basically sucks out all the oxygen in your spine and in your brain. And so what happens is your body goes into seizures and strokes. And if it's not caught quickly enough, you can die. We all need oxygen. So I don't remember any of it, but I do remember waking up in the hospital and my husband saying to me, "Oh, I'm so delighted you've woken up, honey. You've had a stroke. I'm going to go get the doctor and tell him you're awake." And I just had this big word no screaming in my head. And the reason I had a big word of no was because I didn't believe my husband. I didn't believe I was in fine form. Why would I have a stroke? Well, it was a viral infection. But also, I wasn't prepared to give up being the breadwinner of the family. I was not prepared to give up being the high-powered, quote unquote, executive that I was in my former life. And so I just said, no, this is a joke. I can get through this. I can move through this. And the reason I'm telling you about the word no is what I have found in my entire life is if there's ever anything that I've ever wanted, whatever it was, I always had a picture of it in my head. I always carried a vision. So when I was in my early 20s, I knew I wanted a corner office in the boardroom. So I had a picture in my head of what that meant to me. It doesn't matter that it was a silly picture with a mini skirt and high heels is what it was with a panel background. Totally crazy. But I've had a picture in my head all the time of what I wanted, and I got it. In the time that I never had a picture or a vision in my head, I never got it. So the reason I'm really reinforcing this, I was not disabled. No, I was fully functioning. No, I would never lose my position of being the chief breadwinner, was because that was all important to me. And that was what kept me focused. And I say that because every business owner that I've ever met, every entrepreneur that I've ever met will have moments of time when they say, why am I doing this? What have I got myself into? And we always have to go back to, no matter where we are, why did we get into this in the first place? So the first thing I did was say no. I had a pity party for myself. I'm human. I felt sorry for myself. I wanted to cry. And then what I did was I said, okay, if I was going to ask myself for advice as this big high-powered executive, what would I do? So I said, I'm going for it. Now in business, when you have to make a decision, there's no halfway measures. You're either all in or you're not. And although many of us would love to do stuff part-time, it doesn't work that way. So if you're going to launch a product or launch a new business or hire an employee or fire an employee or do any of that, we all have to make that decision. I'm going to do it or I'm not going to do it, and I'm going to face the consequences. So always the first step in the 6 steps is make that decision. It sounds simple, but once you make that decision, now everything moves at a much accelerated pace. The second level is what I call, you've got to gather your energy. And there's some terms out there in the world. Oh, well, let's be happy. Let's be grateful. Let's do this. And I say, no. What you want to do is understand what you've got inside and how you're different from everyone else, and thank whatever God you have of your understanding that you're fully formed enough today to move forward. So what I did in the hospital after my pity party, I laid in bed and I listened to the people in the ward. Some people couldn't walk. Some people, their tongue was stuck to the roof of their mouth. Some people couldn't get to the bathroom. Some people needed assistance. And I realized as I was lying in bed, I could walk. The walls needed help being held up because walls are just not firm things. They need humans to hold them up all the time. I could go to the bathroom myself and I could string sentences and ideas together. They may not have made a lot of sense, but I was well off and better than the rest of the mates in the hospital. So what I did was I said, I'm going to go be Miss Sunshine. I'm going to be cheerful and charming to all the people out there who don't have it as good as me, and I'm going to make their day. Now, the reason I say you want to help other people, and especially other people who maybe don't have as much as you do, is because that makes you feel good. It makes the feels in your heart, it makes the feels in your stomach well up, and you're going, oh my God, that's where my energy is coming from. All of us humans get energy from being connected to other people, to listening to other people, and to helping other people. Those are the easiest things, and all business people can do it. It doesn't cost any money. It doesn't cost any extra effort, and it makes you feel good and powerful. The third step is what I call clarity. It's becoming very aware and very honest with ourselves, because honestly, we're not always very honest with ourselves. We tell ourselves very unusual stories that are not necessarily true. And in this particular case, you want to be honest and you say, well, this is what I have. I was trained doing this. I have these skills. I have this much years experience, but I don't have this. I don't have this, and I don't have this. And it's the piece of what you don't have, if you don't pay attention to it, that's going to come back and bite you in the butt. So when I say, I looked at myself and I said, okay, here's what I have. I can do some stuff. There's other stuff I can't do. So let me work with what I have. So all business people, all the smart business people I know are saying, okay, I don't have to have all the answers. I don't have all the answers. Where can I get those answers? You get those answers from your employees, your suppliers, your customers, your coaches, your colleagues, and you keep an open mind, and you bring back those things to your own world. So the first 3 steps: make the decision, fill yourself up with energy, and be very clear about what you're bringing to the table and what you're not bringing to the table. Then you want to get what I call the 4th level is strategic, and you start asking yourself questions. What can I do? In a business sense, no business person is going to say they're going to launch the product if they don't have the marketing done. No business person is ever going to say they're going to fire someone if they haven't talked to the legal department or their lawyer. No one is ever going to say, well, I'm not paying my taxes, or I'm not running by the laws. We don't do that. What we do is we say, what do I need? When life comes at us in the business and things blow up, what do? We go to the experts and say, okay, here's what I have, but what can I do to get out of what I'm doing? Those are all normal, regular questions that we all ask ourselves. So what I said was, okay, strategically, I can do these 5 things every single day. And how I can do them is I organize my life according to these 5 things. So I have blocks of time specifically for this, this, and this. And then the 5th level is a hard level because it's all about having faith and confidence in our own abilities. And there are days when we don't have faith and confidence in our own abilities. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you do. I don't care how big your company is. You're always paddling. I had a great image today. You're always paddling madly like a duck on water. The way a duck travels on water is they're paddling like madly. That's what business people do. The rest of the world doesn't see that, but on the days that you don't feel like doing something, you just keep paddling because you know ultimately if you do it right and you do it long enough, it's going to work. This is the toughest piece. The absolute toughest piece is having constant faith and confidence in ourselves. The last step is the action step. And this is the piece that we have no control over. How long is it going to take me to be able to walk again perfectly? How long is it going to take me to launch this product and have people love it? How long is it going to take me to hire all those people, get them in place, and get us moving forward? The honest to God answer is we can make all the plans that we want, but we don't know. So many businesses will get off the boat too soon. Well, that didn't work. I'm going to go to try something else. And that didn't work. And I'm going to go try something else. That's not the way to move ahead in any business. Not one ever. It's not the way to move ahead in life. What you do is you've already come up in your fourth level. You've developed, you've said, here's my strategies. Here's what I'm going after. And you got to give it time. You have to keep your eyes open to what's improving. So many times, business people don't pay attention to the happy things, to the positive things. They pay attention to all the things that are going wrong. They pay attention to all the things that are blowing up. That's not a good thing either. You want to have an even way of looking at stuff. So, keeping the focus on it, taking those action steps, moving forward, without thinking about it's a pain in the butt, it's not working, but taking action and looking and saying, oh, that worked. It's changed here. It's changed there. It is working. It never, nothing, absolutely nothing, whether we talk about personal or business, nothing ever happens at the speed that we want it to happen. But if we let it go, it does happen. So the 6 steps to a winning mindset are: make the decision go or not go. Fill yourself up with energy because that's what's going to propel you forward. Be very clear about what you have and what you're bringing to the table and what you need. There's no reason why you have to do everything. You just need to know what you're missing. Be very strategic. Set your goals of what you want and then break them down into smaller steps. Have faith and confidence is the 5th level in yourself, in the process that you're developing, and in the universe that's actually going to help you get to where you want to be. And then the last step is just keep putting one step in front of the other. Keep taking action steps. And I can never give the time frame, but I can always say it's going to happen. Does that make sense?
Sure. Now, talking about the 5th level of a winning mindset, you talk about faith and confidence. So how does confidence and mindset, how does it influence the business, right? And our individual lives? Now, this mindset of a thing, are we talking about good mindset, positive mindset, or what kind of mindset do we need in order, right, to be successful, right, in our business and also our individual lives?
I'm going to back up for a second. I always thought I had the right mindset because I had shot through my career. I was leading billion-dollar companies. The buck stopped with me. And even though I was madly paddling underneath the water like that duck, I knew that I was smart enough to keep on going. The piece that I didn't have was being in touch with what I stand for. I wasn't completely in touch with my personal values. I wasn't living always as that person, that successful person. I wasn't always living my values. So when you ask me, what is it about mindset? How do you get it? Where do you find it? How do you improve upon it? I'm going to say, based on my experience only, spend 30 minutes a day learning, reading, being coached, watching good stuff, filling your brain with amazing stuff. One place that I found to get very clear on how my values were, how I could look at the world differently, how I could be more in touch with people, be more in touch with the realities of people, was I took a membership for $500 at mindvalley.com. It is the absolute cheapest thing that I've found going that could help me organize my beanie as an entrepreneur, as a business person, and as a personal person. What was involved in that? Well, I learned NFT, neuro-linguistic training. I learned self-hypnosis. I learned phrases to give myself to get back onto a high performance level. I learned Asian teachings. I learned Western teachings. I learned African teachings. I learned European teachings. And I just kind of mishmashed them all together and said, well, that bit works, that bit works, that would, and they became routines. So I say to everybody, if you want to be stronger mentally, if you want to have more confidence personally, so that you can be the best you can be professionally, invest in yourself 30 minutes a day. Inside of 3 months, you will notice some changes. I can't tell you what the changes are, but they will be huge for you. Inside of 6 months, you are going to be feeling very powerful, very, very productive. And inside of a year, you're going to look at yourself and say, oh my God, in 12 months, I have become a way better person. And for every business person out there, we all have dreams. We all want to be somewhere, get something, do something. We can't do that today. We have to become the person that we're going to be in order to reach all of our goals, in order to reach all of our objectives. And 30 minutes a day in personal growth is the best way I know to improve your faith and confidence to become the person you need to be to win all the goals, to win all your objectives. Does that make sense?
Right. Moving forward, Charlene, now we want to talk about bulletproofing one's business. Now, I want to share your expertise in this regard. Do we have any strategies that can help business owners, right, CEOs, bulletproof their business? Now, talking about this area of change, talking about COVID-19 and the pandemic, do you have any insights you'd like to share?
So let me give you the reasons behind being very successful and making millionaires throughout my entire life. Business is not about data. Business is not about products. Business is not about tech. Business is about people. Human beings are the foundation of a very successful business, bar none. In business, it's not about the leader. It's not about you. It's about you now in the people business. We all train to be incredible technicians or technocrats or professionals. But once we have a business with people in it, we're now in the business of inspiring and leading those people to do what we want to happen. So COVID has really, really shook the whole business framework. And what I like about it is a bunch of people are saying, you know what, we are tired of being treated like garbage. We're tired of making peanuts. We're tired of not being respected, and they're leaving in so many places. What that is a wake-up call to business owners to say, okay, there really isn't a shortage of people. There really isn't a shortage of well-trained employees. What there is a shortage of people trained in what I call business and people leadership. So if there's one thing that I can say to everybody today, look in the mirror and ask that person, do you really, really know how to treat all the people in your life so that they feel as good as you do? 9 times out of 10, unfortunately, the answer is no. You may have to change your thinking if you want to go to that next level of profitability. You are going to have to change your thinking if you're going to last more than 5 or 10 years.
Right. Now, what you're emphasizing on is that human capital is very instrumental, is very important when we talk about bulletproofing our business, right? Or is the major factor we need to consider?
So my pet peeve is people are not resources. Human resources, garbage, doesn't work. Human capital, garbage, doesn't work. What people are in any business is your equity. So I have a lot of business people saying, well, you don't understand, you know, it's my ass on the line. I've signed off, I've borrowed all this money, the banks are on me, and no, I'm sorry. Yes, your ass is on the line because that's the way it works. But your people are your equity. Your people are the sweat that's going to turn your ideas into really profitable gobs of money, if you will, bags of money. Therefore, if you think in terms of your people as equity, you're going to treat them a whole lot better than you've ever treated them. And I don't care whether you want to talk those people being customers, people being suppliers, people being your teammates, your colleagues, doesn't matter. Your people are equity. And I think the thing that's come out through COVID, all human beings have worth. And that worth is equal regardless of who you are, what you do, what position you hold. And the faster we can get on that page that everyone is worth the same amount, the faster we can go off and make big gobs of money and make a big impact in the world.
Right. Now, you mentioned business leaders while in your discussion. Talking about understanding leadership, what are the challenges that are facing business leaders today? Do you have any probable solution or any strategies, right? Suggestions you like to share in this regard?
The biggest problem that I see is that, one, we still have a lot of older people who grew up in the industrial age, and this is the information age. So in the industrial age, people didn't matter. You just told people what to do and paid them a minor. Leading people was not important in the industrial age. A lot of people didn't have good parents who had good abilities in pulling out those amazing qualities. So we didn't have good mentors. We didn't have good parents. We've not had good examples of bosses. So where are we left at? We ourselves aren't very good because we haven't learned. When we went to school, we learned the technical stuff, but I can guarantee you most MBA programs are only focused on data, international stuff, statistics. They're never interested in what makes the human being tick. Let's be nice to the human beings. So all of us are left with, we don't know what we're doing when it comes to people. Do I have a strategy? I do have a couple of strategies. One is go find people who you trust have got their stuff together and they are treating their people well. Before you do that, I go back to my winning mindset. You got to make the decision. Do you want to be part of the new crowd leading the frontier in the world or not? That's a big decision because a lot of people don't want to. They're very happy in the industrial age. But if you want to make a difference, you've got to make that decision and be prepared for all the, oh my God, I'm outside my comfort zone. I feel really scary doing this, because that's what happens. You get yourself some help, either free help by checking in with your mentors or people who have done it better, or you join association groups or mastermind groups, or you deal with a business advisor type who's already been there, got the success, and can say, hey, okay, try this, try this. There is no one solution for everyone, but if you find the right person, they can pull out of you what works best for you to get that information out to your people.
Right. Thank you so much for your insight on Charlene Norman on today's show. Do you have any projects you have in the pipeline you'd like to share with my audience?
Do I have any projects? You know, yes, I do. I'm on a mission to help all those companies that are feeling lost because of COVID. There's still massive opportunities. So I'm on a mission to help anybody who's interested in accelerating past COVID. I believe there's possibilities all over for everyone. And the other one that I'm on a mission on is to help women who I call our immigrants, who are working their little buns off and they don't understand all the ways to decode the traditional white ideas that have just gone all throughout the entire world. And I'm on a mission to help them because I figured it out. And as a white woman and beat the white men, I figure, okay, I've got something to offer to all the women who are interested in moving fast in their own lives. So those are my two projects that I have on the go right now. I'm pretty excited about that.
Pretty excited about that also, Charlie. I wish you best of luck in those missions. Now, do you have any parting words you'd like to share?
Any practical words?
Yes.
This is something I've just recently learned, like maybe in the last 4 or 5 years. Absolutely nothing happens to us. Absolutely nothing. Everything happens for us. And that's a really big leap to make. That didn't happen to me, it happened for me. And the last one I'll tell you is the 4 inches between our ears is the absolute best piece of real estate that we own. Feed the 4 inches with good thoughts and good things happen. Feed the 4 inches with bad things and nothing good ever happens. Pay attention to those 4 inches between your ears and watch absolute abundance and miracles happen in your life.
Right. Brilliant. Thank you for those inspiring and motivating lines, Charlie. Any social media handles and your website you'd like to share?
You know what? The easiest thing is if anyone wants to reach out to me, you can find me on LinkedIn. I play on LinkedIn every single day, and I have a reputation for responding very quickly if someone sends me a note. And I'm always open for a quick phone call on my dime, not anyone else's, to help you line up your ideas that are buzzing around in your head and figure out how to make that straight line of actions take place.
Right. So invariably, we can only access you on LinkedIn, right? How about your website?
Oh, www.bulletproofyourbusinessnow.com.
Right. We got that. It's a pleasure having you on the show once again, Charlene Norman, for your incredible insight, especially talking about bulletproofing one's business in this era of change. I really had a great time.
Thank you so much, Omobola.
All right. It's a pleasure having Charlene Norman once again. Now, if you'd like to catch up with any missed episodes of Live Well Leads by Omobola Stephen, do so by on any cross promotion platforms you bump into, or any promotion platforms you bump into online, and you have an amazing time. Perhaps you'd like to be a guest on the show, you can mail me at omobolastephen.o@outlook.com. Now I'll be looking forward to your mail. Till I come your way, I need you to stay safe with all my love. I talk to you soon.